Hi, everyone. I'm excited to have Susie Kim Mykles here. She's a good friend and also a recognizable figure in the esports community. She's also a fiber artist, and I would love for Susie to tell us about her background and connection to the arts.
Um, so my background is I'm kind of all over the place, but I guess predominantly I've been in esports for a really long time. Um, and I've recently, I guess not recently anymore, but um, I took a step back from the esports community to kind of foster my own growth and also became a mom and wanted to take care of my kid. Um, and during that time I kind of discovered that I have a love for yarn and making things with yarn. And I've just kind of been on a rampage since, and I'm like working part-time at a yarn shop. And yeah, knitting and crocheting has just become a really large part of my life in creating something new. And yeah, kind of channeling myself through those means.
I love that. It's interesting because you kind of like touched upon your background in esports, but I feel like sometimes we'll go to events and everybody recognizes you as like the esports person. So I guess like for your career, from when you started to become that recognizable person, or just as like I'm calling it hungry artists, but I feel like it's just anybody who's got drive and like has built their career. So tell us about like, I guess your journey from being just like, somebody who hasn't been recognized and then to where you are now, and then also channeling the creative aspect, but just, give us a little background on your journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. I started off in esports with a game called StarCraft, and a big part of it was I was living in South Korea at the time, where StarCraft is huge and the best players come from there.
Mhm.
And I really wanted. I joined a community of fans who enjoyed Korean esports, and I wanted to be able to bridge that gap. And so it was actually not for the recognition, really. It started off being able to provide interviews and or translations or like swag items or things that you can only get in Korea, and offer it to the community outside of Korea, because I just really want to share that experience. And so that's kind of how it grew. And then I started doing interviews, and then I got asked to be a sports commentator for a small league in Korea that was starting up in English. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And it was, opportunities here and there. And I'm really grateful that it kind of all fell into my lap that way. Um, but there was a lot of effort on my end. Obviously, I really strived to help connect the Western fan base with the Korean esports, and and this was 20 years ago, almost at this point. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's been like 20 years now. And it's amazing how big the esports community has grown now. And how readily accessible everything is. I mean, remember 20 years ago, internet was not as prevalent in our lives as it is now. No smartphones, no anything at that point. My God, I sound really old. um, but yeah, so that's kind of what I've done. And I started from there into working at Twitch, which is a large streaming platform, and I helped bring that into South Korea and built up the team there, and get a Twitch presence out that way. And then when I came back to the United States, I got a job. I got an opportunity to become the general manager for an Overwatch League team, which was a new game at that point. And we had won the championship that first year, the first season. And from there, I had some like education initiatives, and there were certain things that I really wanted to do, but by that point I was also getting old and I wanted to start a family, and so I wanted to really shift my focus and my energies into that. And so yeah, here I am.
Yeah.
But now I'm bored, so I'm like, I need to focus somewhere else.
Right, right.
And I love the arts. I really do. I was an English lit major. My husband and I love to go to museums and go to art shows. And I just picked, yeah, yarn just became a really great medium for me to be able to make things and make things that are practical. I'm also an incredibly practical person.
Right, right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So then I guess that's a good segue into talking about like the piece that you collaborated with us when I asked you if you wanted to collaborate and be one of the creators and create like a set of wings. I knew you were a fiber artist, and then I didn't know what you were going to pass back to me, but tell me about the piece that we included for the wings.
Yeah. So I guess 'tis the season. All of my friends are having babies, and everybody's so I've been making baby blankets, and everybody's baby blankets are different. I want to make sure that the blankets are unique for each of the kids, but also to reflect how I see the parent, or what I think would fit well with them. And the piece I was working on at the time it's called a corner to corner crochet blanket, and I was able to use this yarn that was just really colorful and fun. And I feel like it really reflected the I want to say quirky, but I hope she doesn't get offended by that. But like, she's a very unique personality, this person I made it for. And I thought that might be a really fun and bold piece to incorporate into the NFT.
Yeah, I love that. Because then you sent a photo, a close-up shot of the photo, and then I was able to put that on the wings. And the cool part is like the collaboration, the legs is created by somebody, his name is Marcus with Bandwidth Care, and he's all about Web3 wellness. And so when I see the blanket wings with his kind of like wellness good vibes thing, I feel like it's almost like a blanket, like it's
Yeah,
like the wings almost feel like it's all very like tender
it's like
and
hugging.
loving. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's such a positive NFT. I'm really excited to launch that one's launching July 5th, and so yeah, I'm excited for everyone to see that. And then lastly, or no, actually, I was gonna ask you one more thing about your view on like NFTs and Web3, especially from like a gaming point of view. You think like gaming and NFTs are like really kind of connected, but like what's your personal take on it, and like the people in the community, what do they say?
I think they are connected. NFTs, I guess, to me, I feel like esports actually was the original originator of the NFT. Like, you go into Counter-Strike, and the skins itself, the fact that it's a digital item that you own and possess, it's a piece of art.
Mhm.
And it's interesting. It's like a hit or miss. Some people are super on board, and some people think that NFT is just a big scam. And I understand why, because people have been scammed by NFTs, and people have been scammed. It's the wild, wild west. And
Mhm.
considering that, like, 20-30 years back, how crazy the esports industry was in terms of people scamming to start teams, or like taking money to, there were a lot of bad apples back then when it first started, before it was more structured. That I feel like, and the Web3 space is similar, that the people who kind of got into it first, who have not great intentions, have been abusing it, and have made it a uh, not welcoming space for those who might not be as educated, or understand what the space is. And I totally get it. And I even want to go back to like the first days of the internet. Like,
Mhm.
when we had internet, it was, on I logged in on MS DOS, like it was, until better tools and
Yes.
better programs and applications are out there to make it more accessible and easy for people to understand. Web3 is going to be a scary space, and it's a growing process.
Mhm.
And it's interesting, because now we have all the ability to have this space grow faster than
Mhm.
ever.
Right.
um, and it's just hard. It is a hard place to navigate, but you just kind of have to be smart, and um, try to, I don't know, try to just be wary of what projects you're into. Like, and having said that, I think, the Stacks community, like, I know some of the people who are heading it, and I really think that you're trying to build something positive and good on Bitcoin is interesting. It's super interesting, and I do wonder where it's going to go with, especially right now with the whole crypto crash and the bear market, whatever, all these buzz terms that I'm hearing. but ultimately, I think Web3 and with NFTs, it's just a good place to build. It's just like a new way to build, right? And so if we don't think about the money aspect of it, but more of the community aspect of it and how it can benefit us, I feel like how it could benefit us just in a new way without, a middleman, where a lot of the transactions and things are just direct wallet to wallet. And there's always a recording of it, right? So it's so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know.
so.
It's
Yeah.
I'm mixed feelings about it. I
Yeah.
think it's something that's going to grow for sure. But and I'm very grateful that I'm kind of I started a little bit earlier than actually I can't even say that.
You're
It's
still
been about a
early.
year. It's been about a year or so that I've kind of been like dabbling in it. And there's so much to learn, and I'm still at a loss because maybe I'm too old and my brain just doesn't work this
No,
way.
we can't think that way.
But I'm studying and I'm
Yeah.
trying to find but I think it has potential to become something big and to
Yeah.
something that becomes a mainstay that we all use eventually. Like my son's generation this might just be the norm,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I feel like in the traditional art world, at least where I come from, they say only like 2% of collectors are buying digital artwork, the ones that are buying real art. So we're still so early. I feel like this is still like us kind of working on things. Hungry Artist is a project of how you will be launching your first NFT through a collaboration.
Right.
So for me, it's just onboarding people and like building something that feels right. So as like we kind of group together and do things like this, hopefully we can onboard like the masses because right now we're still like, in the early
Oh yeah.
trailblazing days. Yeah.
I do know a bunch of people that are working on using Web3 to create video games,
Hmm.
and it should be fun. I really do look forward to seeing how it'll all pan out.
Yeah.
And I actually know someone who is trying to make a video game that's more of like an educational one so that people
Mm.
can play it on Web3
Yeah.
to learn about Web3. And it's
I love that. I think gaming and NFTs is like sisters and brothers. Like I feel like there's so many like connections and correlations, and that's why I really thought of you because you're so big in the gaming world. So hopefully the NFTs catch up, so then it feels all like it's gonna align and be big as what esports is now today.
who knows where we are in 10 years, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Lastly, I know we have to go, but what are you currently working on, and where can everybody find you?
um i'm I'm not as active on Twitter anymore, but my handle is at Lil Susie, Lilsusie, and my Instagram is at Lil Susie Kim. Just add the Kim on there.
Mhm.
But right now, I'm just kind of I've taken a step back from the esports world. Like I said, I'm focusing more on my projects, my tangible projects,
Mhm.
and just being a mom. Really, I have a 2-year-old, so there's really not much time for anything.
Yeah, yeah. But like all those pictures I've seen on your Instagram with like the sweaters, and then are you making like these chickens or something?
Yeah, actually I'm teaching a class starting
Wow.
July 13th on how to knit a chicken. So
So cool.
so I'm still teaching and I'm still involved in a knitting community. It's a knitting crocheting class. I teach beginning knitters and crocheters, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Is that class something online or is it like you go to a studio?
It's in person. Yeah.
Okay, and where it's at Culver City?
No, I actually work at the place called the Knitting Tree
Cool.
in Inglewood, California.
Nice.
Um, and they're open minus Mondays. We're open all the time. So yeah, if you guys are in Southern California and you're interested in knitting or crocheting, check out the Knitting Tree LA, and yeah, people can help you out. It's a great community there.
I've never knitted a sweater. I have to learn that from you.
Oh my
Maybe one of these
gosh.
days I'll come take a class from
Yes.
you. Yes, yeah. Very cool. Well, thanks for like being part of this collaboration, doing this interview and telling us about your background and story. And like we're excited to see where like gaming and NFTs goes from here. Thank you. Bye, Susie.
Thank you. Bye.